There's always been this big spat over black on black use of the N-word, right? And why when a Caucasian or somebody who's a non-African American, or I would just say non-black, use the N-word against an African American, it's offensive. But when an African American uses the N-word against another African American, it is not offensive. Now, there's been some that say, you've heard a lot of, Jay-Z is very famous for saying that, we've taken the power out of the word, and, it's an art form and blase, blase. Now, I'm going to be honest, 100 and real. I don't know about that. I think the use of the N-word is just bad overall. But this is why the story is all interesting. So this is the first time that the black-on-black use of the N-word has ever played out in the courts. I don't know if this is the first time, but it played out in the courts in New York. And in this case, basically how it went down was Robert Carmona, and the employment agency he founded, Strive East Harlem, was sued by one of their employees, Brandy Johnson, who told jurors that being black doesn't mean that using the N-word is less hurtful. And she basically reported that repeatedly Carmona used the N-word and used the slur against her multiple times in various angry tirades. One time she decided to record said tirades, and he used those tirades to explain inappropriate workplace attire and unprofessional behavior. Brandy Johnson, and this is all in jury testimony, she remarked that that she taped the remarks in the after she complained a couple times, and said that she left and she cried and it was very hurtful for her to use the word. Well, the bottom line here is that the jury ordered Carmona to pay $2,500 in punitive damage and Strive to pay an additional $5,000 in punitive damages to Brandy Johnson for the derogatory use and the insensitive and inappropriate use of the N-word against her, and because she felt that she was verbally violated. Now, I get the use of the N-word as an art form, in rap lyrics, but I don't necessarily agree with the argument, but I understand the argument of taking the power out of the word, this, that, and the third. But in this particular situation, the N-word, just because an African American used that word to an African American, the N-word has the same meaning here, right? If you're talking about inappropriate behavior, unprofessional behavior, which is not necessarily a word that's associated with the N-word, but if you are telling somebody, whether you're black and they're black, or you're white and they're black, and you're saying, you blank, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that, that is any inappropriate use of the word. Mind you, the word is inappropriate to use overall, but in this particular instance, I have to agree with the jury, and I would rule in favor of Brandy Johnson, because I feel as though she was violated and she was verbally abused, and the N-word was part of that verbal abuse and that verbal targeting. So I'm happy that she won. Shout out to her. But this is why this story sucks, right?